Meow.
Meow.
Meow, everyone.
Welcome to your favorite ants.
The very gothic show where we're here to tell you how to become your best witchy woman. I am Sailor Moon.
And I am terrible at this. And I am
Literally pick any
Shira.
planet.
And I am Shira.
Very good.
I
Very
did
good.
it.
And we're your favorites. Today we are live and thriving out here. I would love to know what the beat is today. What are we featuring?
How are we feeling? What's going on with people? How the hell are you? We want to know.
Yeah. No, but literally, I want to know. Like, I love what you're serving today. I would like to know about what
Oh,
you're
what's happening on
giving.
my face?
What are you giving the girls today?
Right. So I was wearing a Blondie t-shirt. So I had a doctor's appointment today, which I'm sure we'll go into later. And I decided that you have to be really comfy when you're going to these things. And so I decided to wear my Blondie t-shirt. And then as I was getting ready to hang out with you, I recognized that my hair was giving us a lot of rock star. So
Mhm.
I did my cat eye, which I normally do, but I let her go a little bit thicker and longer. And then I decided, let's do some metallics, but in kind of the
Mhm.
mauve, but also a little bit not red, it's like almost like a clay color
Mhm.
palette, and so that's where we went there. And then this is a lip color that I bought you that lip color, and then I was like,
Mhm.
I can't go quite that dark, so then I got
Mhm.
a more raspberry,
Or raspberry.
and that's what I'm serving today. Is a little bit more of a punk rock look.
Nice. I'm serving barefaced just with kimchi chic.
I love it.
Black sugar is
It's
the name of the
cute.
color. It's from, but also like check out this. You watch it. Watch it
What?
again, and it
That's
pops
so
out,
cool.
and then
Oh, you don't have
da-na-na-na-na-na.
to worry about it like coming open and spilling in your
Ever.
purse.
Ever.
Oh,
Because if it does, this is where it's going to go. But it's got a little pull. There's a little magnet on the end, so it just holds it in there.
what won't the Lord do?
Kimchi, thank you, girl. You're the real one. Anyways, so question for you / the whole world: how the hell
Yeah,
are you? How are you feeling?
sure.
What's the hot goss? What are you doing, Sarah?
Well,
What you
I'm
up to?
feeling pretty good. Last weekend I wasn't here because I was running my best half marathon I've run in my life, which was really
Yeah.
exciting for
Post
me
injury.
post
Post.
injury.
I don't know if I'm ever going to run again.
Yep. Plus, I fell at the first half mile in.
Sometimes it be
Uh,
like that.
but it was so much fun. Our time was really good. My running partner, who we have this whole agreement that if one of us is hurt, the other one stays. We cross the finish line together no matter
Wow,
what.
very wild goose of you.
Yeah. Well, his calves went out at mile 10 and a half. So we did not finish super fast, but we still got under 2, which was our
Wait,
goal. And so
what does it mean his calves went out?
his calves started to cramp. And so they like start to ball.
Ah.
And it's a really painful thing. It happens to me sometimes with really long distance. So we were
Mm.
doing really well time wise before that. So that was really, really fun. It was great to be in Nashville. I got to see my brother and his partner. They came to hang out, and she's just delightful. So we had fun. And then today I had another test as we go down the what's does Sarah have breast cancer
Does
rabbit hole?
Sarah have breast cancer?
Turns out I had to do today was going into the MRI machine. Um,
Mm.
and I had dye put in my body this morning. And I
Did
was
not make you
super
glow, for the record.
I know. I told you yesterday I thought it was going to make me glow. It did not make me glow. But also, it was super comfortable. I almost fell asleep in it because you're in like you know how you when you're in a massage table and they have the that bed with the
Mhm.
circle? That's the how they put you into the machine.
Yeah. What'd you
So
think?
I didn't know because the last time I did it, I was right side up and it was very overwhelming and a little bit scary. This time,
Mm.
I couldn't see what was going on, and I had 45 minutes in a tunnel. Um, so
You
I'll
just
know more in 5 days.
Yeah. That's how I felt. I just went in and I just closed my eyes the whole time, and I just kind of I tried not to fall asleep because if I fell asleep, my head would move, and they needed my head to stay steady.
Mm, yeah, my head had freedom of
Mm.
movement. So it was
Free head.
yeah, so glad to be done that. It kind of rounds this week out. It's been a really good week. I feel like I've gotten a lot of creative thoughts, but I just want to
Mm.
say I have been taking care of myself
Hello.
in a way that I haven't in a really long time. Whereas,
Or
like it,
maybe ever.
maybe ever, like stopping in the evenings and going, hey, maybe you don't have to like deserve to watch a TV show. You could just watch a TV show. So
Ooh.
I
What are
have
you
been
watching?
watching Emily in Paris.
A lot of people love that show. It's critically acclaimed.
It is very corny. Um, but I like it. And I like it because it's got a little bit of romance. It has a little bit of silliness. It's great. It's great, especially for where I am right now and just kind of what I needed. So
Listen, there's
yeah.
nothing wrong with watching a little bit of television that does not like you know me. I watch just drag queens and silliness on YouTube because my life feels so serious all the other places in the world that here and my Netflix account are just like the two places I am free. Free to
Yeah.
be me.
And I will say this week I put out something about the fact that I had lost my publisher and then a bunch of publishing houses contacted me. So that feels really good. I had a great meeting with one. And I think
Sarah, yes.
I think your girl has got an agent soon. So that'll be really exciting for
Sarah,
me.
Louisa, Jane, motherfucking Heath. Ain't that the way? The Lord said, oh, you like the Lord was just clearing it out the way, was just clearing the table so that another person with a bigger checkbook, with more interest, with people who actually want to work with you, not just someone who's trying to exploit you for
Oof,
your platform. Because let's be honest, you were the best thing to ever happen to that place.
you're so sweet.
I'm I only speak truth.
Well, there was that. And then the final thing I'll say that has had me in such a good mood is one of the things that I have shared with you. I believe I've shared this with you. I am teaching a class to folks who are
Mhm.
formerly unsheltered, teaching them how to tell their own story in a way that isn't like doesn't exploit them. And this week's class just reminds me, it just feels like sacred ground to sit and hear these
'Cause it
people's
is.
stories and hear what they're doing. And I was just so impressed with how people can find these like threads in their lives where they realize, hey, all of this is going together for the betterment of not just myself but others. And it is they're speaking in 2 weeks and they're gonna rock it. Like I can't wait to see them. So that's been my week. It's been
Hell yeah.
really good. It's also been slow in a nice way. Like I did the race, I came back, I did a wedding, so I felt like I was running into the week, and then everything kind of slowed down, and it has been really lovely.
Mhm. Way to take care of yourself through all that. I'm proud of you.
Yeah, how the hell are you?
Good. I have to sneeze. It's like stuck right here.
Ooh.
Excuse me. Stellar, I would say. Like, still kind of riding the delicious vibes of last week. Um, like, it started off really, really bad, ended really wonderfully. And um, I'm in the throes of just like new relationship energy, and it's really fun. He took me to a rock show last night, and it was like a really weird local band, and then like we left halfway through their set because it was too weird. But I'm like,
I
it
just
feels.
love that there's something that's too weird for you. Like, that just makes me so happy because your level of weird is so different.
Oh yeah, here's the thing. Like, I can go to a drag show and see a drag queen come out in like a meat dress and like throw peas at everybody, and I'm going to say, "Yes, do more."
This makes
But
sense. It's so
but
deep.
But I see a straight frontman of a rock band tell everybody to get down on the ground and hatch like little chickens, and I'm just over here. It's just out of place at a rock
Mhm.
show. You know what I want to do? I want to sway a little bit. I want to like look at the band, sorta, but mostly I want to vibe in myself. And if all these people you're trying to get me to do motions, this is not youth group. No, no.
That was another thing to throw in. Yesterday, I did a ballet workout, which I haven't done in years, like bar
Mm,
ballet workout, which just used to be a part of my everyday life and, all through my teenage years. And so because today is International Dance Day. So that was the other thing. It's
mm.
like, I'll move, but if you're telling me to move in a particular way and you aren't a dance instructor, I feel a little weird. Also, like, are we in a cult? That's what my body is questioning. Like, ugh.
Yeah, it was very interesting to me. And this is something I actually was talking with someone today. I'm just like, so this basically like minus like me and Dean and like a whole bunch of other people, like my knees aren't gonna do this. Like, no. Um,
We are
but
no longer capable.
Yeah, we were just all standing around, and I'm like, it's really interesting that this person had the charisma to get everybody to just go along with it because they were all just like down to clown and have a good time. There's nothing wrong with it. It just wasn't for me. And then I just kept thinking about like the power of suggestion in general
Yeah.
and how in a lot of the spaces I used to be in, like I was talking with someone today about we both were Pentecostal. We both have had experience of getting quote unquote slain in the spirit, and we don't know what to do with that because it was like uh, part of it was felt kind of good. It felt like a
Mhm.
rush. It felt like a something. But I'm like, I also know that when I get my emotions worked up too high in any direction and I want something really, really badly to happen, like I wonder how much of that is just myself allowing to be take how much of it was feeling so desperate to be healed, quote unquote, from my sins, quote unquote, that I allowed myself to give myself to that fantasy even for a moment. And I
Well,
think
there's
that
some muscle memory too.
yeah. And so the thing that I was kind of like kind of came to a conclusion on was like I think that like I've had moments of ecstatic experience in union with spirit and God on this side of things that have far outweighed and surpassed anything I experienced in those spaces. And I think the marker of difference is that when I got slain in the spirit, I came up from that feeling a lot of shame because I wasn't
Mm.
healed and I knew it.
Oof.
And anytime I've had a moment of ecstatic union or like just
Connection,
awareness of
yeah.
God's presence, I'm filled with love and compassion and fullness of joy. And that to me is like the big difference. I'm just like, so regardless, I like to say, I don't want to say that everybody who's ever been slain is just kind of giving into like the whims of their emotion because I don't know that. Because some people, weird shit does happen. It just didn't happen for me.
Yeah. I feel like you and I have had these conversations, like, you've had those moments within meditation, and it's interesting
Hmm.
because it's usually when there's not an outside, for an outside sound, and outside it very much comes from within an inward and a silencing. Like, you've told me
Hmm.
about the times where you're like, "Oh, no, I've felt this connection or this rootedness." I remember when you were on your road trip and you're like, "I just need to pull over, and just
Hmm.
be." And you had almost like not an ecstatic experience, but a peace bringing experience. But there was nothing externally bringing you to that place.
Hmm.
And I find that very interesting because you don't come out of that shamed or
Hmm.
disappointed. You come out of that energized. It's
Empowered.
fascinating. It
I'm
rested.
Yeah, I'm like I remember like when I called you, like I was in the mid. It was the middle of I was in New Mexico. It was
Hmm.
the desert. I was just driving. This was just the scenic route, just driving through this national park, and I was like, and it was so quiet, and I'm like, oh, this is what I'm longing for inside. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I just think I love that it's almost like a different way of getting to the thing you were trying to get to in the first place.
Yeah, a better way.
Hmm.
Actually, the other way I wasn't even getting there.
Hmm.
It was like I can see, like I know, like here's the thing, I think everybody has a touch of God in them, and so if that's something that you're longing for, you know what it feels like, and there's all these people around you saying, "This is how you get there. You gotta be perfect. You gotta be holy to be in God's holy presence." It's like, you are holy. You're already in God's presence. Look around you, you idiot.
You idiot. You
Mhm,
just uh-huh.
mhm,
How the hell are all of our friends who are watching us live? And if you're not watching
mhm.
us live, let us know how the hell you are in comments.
Yeah, DM us,
We'd
send
love to
us
know.
mensajes, yeah. But I suppose, like, with that, because we were also a little bit late, that was my fault, my computer was acting up, I apologize. We're gonna move into the second part of our segment, which is, a part of the show that we call, Hot Tops,
Mhm.
Hot
Pop culture.
Topics, Pop Culture. We don't really, again, have a real title for it. It's just Hot Tops,
We
Pop
keep
Culture.
changing it. We used to call it airing our grievances, and now, it's just kind of like what's going on in the world,
Yeah,
I
what's
guess.
going on in the world and what are we angry about? Slash, what are we concerned for? Um,
What's
I
fascinating?
what's interesting?
Yeah.
What comes to mind? I have a, you know, where would you like to start? Because the obvious one for me is Twitter. Who knows how long we're gonna stay there now?
We can start with Twitter. I will let you know. that I did not realize the depravity of Elon Musk. I
Dude,
I
that
knew
man is too rich for his own good.
I knew Elon Musk was strange. Many geniuses are. Many of my friends who are incredibly brilliant
Evil
fall on
genius.
fall on a spectrum. But Elon Musk's buying, well, first of all, lying about what he was going to do with the money. You know, he said at one
Mhm.
point if they could give him a plan to end world hunger, he would. Instead, he's taking $43 billion to buy, or 44 billion at this point, to
44 billion. Yeah.
to buy Twitter. The original was 43, and then you just threw in one, by the way, by the way,
Mhm.
was to buy Twitter so that he could, quote unquote, help free speech. What free speech meant for Elon is that Trump and the right wing are coming back.
Could.
Could, yeah.
Possibly. I mean, these are some of, like, the things that they're pulling apart and speculating about, like, what is this going to mean for the former policy violations now that it's a private company and doesn't have a board of directors? I'm just like, I was really glad when Twitter was public because
Right.
at least at that point, there's a little bit of oversight, even if it is oversight by a bunch of rich people. But the thing is, like even rich people understand at a certain point, like you can't. It's going to hurt your numbers, and so at
To
this point,
have
it's just like,
Russian bots. I mean, that's the other concern.
yeah. And so like it just really bothers me. I'm just like, so the richest person in the world is going to use the platform that has been historically used for a lot of organizing and getting words out and trying to get media stories that are not usually covered by the media in front of other people. He has the ability to just any sort of criticism if he wants to. He's a tech genius. He can do it without any. He owns it.
Yep.
He makes the rules now, which is fine. If we're it just sucks.
It's this weird um thing, and I love Trevor Noah had a great segment on this where he talked about, like, we need to at least talk about the fact that there is one person in control of this now, you know?
One.
And this
No,
used to be an organizing place for folks who were organizing around Black Lives Matter, organizing around all kinds of things that were more justice oriented, and now that is gone. We also need to talk about the fact that that's on an international scale. I mean, there's stuff going on in India that has used Twitter, and now are
mhm.
we going to use that to report on them? It's just that we're circling this thing. It'll be
It
interesting to see. We don't know what's going to happen. A lot of people have already you know, what do you call it?
deleted their accounts,
Deleted their accounts.
which
Are you going to do it?
at this point, no, because
Okay.
I'm always willing to divest if the moment calls for it.
I guess my fear is that all of you guys, I'm not Twitter famous, but if all of you guys leave, it's only going to be the folks from Fox News and
Mhm. Well, something interesting that was brought up in a conversation I heard on it podcast was that like in some ways, like banning idiots, like the horrible, like banning Donald Trump from Twitter disallows public people from actually seeing how horrible and how dumb these people actually are.
right.
And so in some ways, like, no, but the problem is, again, the way that people can skew anything, spin anything, and how people are just not grounded or centered enough to actually hear anything in the first place, you know.
And it's around hate speech that they get. It's not like just because they're far right. It's around not
Mhm,
telling the truth. So if you can prove that what they're
mhm,
saying is a lie, or and that's like a panel of people, guys, who decide that. That's not
mhm.
just one person
For
says,
now,
yeah.
not anymore.
No, this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. This is how people got banned.
Mhm.
Or inciting violence. That those were the things that could get you kicked off.
Yeah, those are not protected forms of speech.
New.
Excuse me.
Well brought up. I would like to talk about something I found really interesting. It's a little fun one. I was
Great.
reading articles, and just recently, there's been a surge in men who are patients getting they can get taller. There is a surgery that is actually working to help men who fall below, I think it's 5'8". They can get them up to 5'9", 5'10", and it's a huge
Why? What? Micro breaks in the femur?
yeah, and they
It's
repair.
yeah, that surgery has been used to give people who have dwarfism or different
Right.
types of. But there is, I assume, are they billing it as a cosmetic surgery?
They are. And it has become really fascinating because it's having a conversation around the social implications of height. So there was a really great interview about a guy who actually works in marketing, 25-year-old who was 5'7", and realized he wasn't getting the meetings that a lot of other people were. People were making like comments about his height. He's a fairly good looking guy having a difficult time because he's 5'7".
Mhm.
And so he went and had the surgery. He's now going to be 5'10". And what does that mean? And there's all these social implications around being a certain height. I think it's something we don't talk about that often. My father is 5'5", 5'6" on a good day. And I
Mhm.
think I have seen the ways that I think men have a tough time with height, and I don't think it's something we always talk about.
Mhm.
The idea that men lie about their height on Twitter. One of the things I
They lie
asked,
about their height, they lie about their dick size, they lie about their money, they lie men lie. Men
right,
lie.
correct. But why is that something we feel like we need to lie about, particularly when a lot of women are my size, which is tiny? Um, so what? I don't know. I was fascinated. You are a tall human. Um,
I think that's weird when people say that because I don't think, like
you don't think of
I just
yourself as
know
tall?
no. I see
I
myself as quite average.
I think of you as tall only because when we're around each other, I can see your
Well, it's also because, like, you are a more petite person, so of course you think of me as taller.
right. But I think it's an interesting conversation to have in culture about why do we want men to be tall? And
Why do we
I
want anyone to be anything other than what they are? That's
correct.
called European beauty standards, baby.
And I want to admit to having my own bias around finding tall men attractive. And we know this because I made every tall girl in high school mad because my boyfriends were always tall.
Sucks for them.
Yep.
Um, I would also say, like, it's not a bad thing to be attracted to um men. I was about to say it's not a bad thing to be attracted to men.
Oh, good.
Period. Thank God.
Congrats, Sarah.
Thank
Congrats,
God for
Sarah.
that. Thank God for me. No, I was gonna say, I mean, I'm who doesn't? Like, I think though, like, as I've gotten more comfortable with myself, my own body in general, like, I have found like my genres have expanded. Like who I'm
Okay.
attracted to.
This is what I was hoping we would get to because I think there is something that happens when you start not needing yourself to be a certain thing, then you
Mhm.
stop needing other people to be a certain thing. And that might seem counterintuitive, but
No,
it's
but
true.
that's exactly it. It's when I stop needing myself to be anything other than what I am, I stop everybody. I don't need anybody else to be anything else other than what they are, especially physically. I stop like when I look at myself and I'm just like, you know what? I don't love working out. I haven't worked out today. I may go work out after this. Um, but I've also had like 2 beers. So like who can say?
Who can say?
Um, yeah, I'll probably go work out. My body's like I'm now that girl. I'm now
I
that
know.
girl.
I know
Also,
you
trigger
are.
warning for people who have like workout issue trigger things.
Mhm,
I'm not gonna
mhm,
go into it much. But like my body's having a moment where it's just like, I really like it.
mhm.
I'm in there 4 to 5 times a week now.
I know.
What the
I
fuck,
get it.
dude? Who am I?
I don't know.
And
I don't
like
know.
it's not, but the thing is, I haven't changed my diet at all. I haven't like restricted myself on anything. It's like it's just I love it's it's fun.
Mhm.
Who knew? I didn't know. I know
I
now.
love it. I laughed because I was thinking of you as I started my race because you're like, "Why would you run? You hate it." And then I realized as I was running, I don't hate when I run like this. When I run and it almost reminds me of when I'm dancing. And if I know the choreography really well, there is something it's like the music takes me over. It's just like my body is in muscle memory. There is
Mhm.
something beautiful. I can't explain it.
You
When I
get
am
in the flow. That's what it's called,
Yes,
baby.
that is it. When I was running in Nashville, I could have run so far, and it feels, I don't know, I'm just grateful for my body, and I'm aware that I have a lot of friends who aren't able to do that, and so I don't wanna be filled with ableism. I know there are different ways that we
Mm,
can get to this, but there is something about freedom within a body that
mm,
is, yeah, it's
yeah,
compelling.
I love
Um,
it. But yeah, the reason that men think that they have to do things is because, I mean, you're the person who gets the surgery to become taller. I don't blame him.
no.
You live in a world that is discriminating against you based off of how you appear in your body. It's the same thing. The same reason I don't like fault anybody for getting any sort of cosmetic anything, because at the end of the day, A, it's your body. You get to do what you want with it, and B, we probably wouldn't feel the need to do these things if we did not live in a world that made us feel like we had to change our bodies for whatever reason. Because, like, here's the deal: I know my ass. Give me a couple years, Botox in this forehead, 100%. I
It's
know
great.
myself. I can already. You see these? Those aren't going away as quickly.
I think what I would say is that the old me had a tough time with those things because I use language around like God made us this way and God doesn't make mistakes. And I'm not saying that, but I cannot, becoming close friends with folks who are trans has really opened me up
Yeah.
to start understanding that there is a person you feel like and then a person that you might have been born like, and they can be different. And height, um
It's the
and these
same.
things, it's just interesting. I just wanted to bring it up because I found it very interesting that there was this uptick, and particularly like around male health. It's a very interesting world that we live in around
Mhm.
male health. I also saw that commercials talk, like, think about the Super Bowl. All the commercials are about like erectile dysfunction, all this stuff about like making sure that men are able to be, fertile for the rest of their lives and have like good sex the rest of their lives. But
Mhm.
we don't talk about the fact that, so like, and it's a very small percentage of men, by the way, who actually have those experiences. It's way
Mhm.
smaller than commercials would make you think, but almost every woman goes through menopause and has the experience of essentially erectile dysfunction where we are
Mhm.
not as interested in those things or our body can't participate in those things. I just find it fascinating when men's health.
Vibe drops. Your libido drops.
Exactly. And I think it's interesting how we are willing to adjust when it comes to men, and we want to solve these problems. I think the one thing that fascinates me, it's not the one thing, but for
One
sure,
thing, just one.
just one within medicine is we haven't solved male pattern baldness. And I think that, like, dude, it's a male health problem. How has this not been solved?
How is okay, hello. Of all the effing things out, I mean, they have solved it to a degree, like, they know that, like, how it's caused, and so but they don't know how to fix it outside of manipulating the hormone levels in a person.
Right.
And that, for me, is like, there's gotta be a better way, and then granted, there is, they have that surgery, which is a cure. But I think also with the people who have that, they still have to take, like, finasteride, which, like, drops your testosterone levels. The problem with that is I have high testosterone levels in my body, and that's where, like, a lot of my energy comes from, and so, like, and along with, like, taking Wellbutrin when I started taking finasteride, like, it just took me out.
Mm.
So, all that to say is if I'm gonna go bald, I am literally gonna shave my head, and then I'm gonna start wearing wigs. I'm gonna start wearing, like, really
Uh,
amazing male, like, male lace fronts that have, like, incredible hairstyles, and everyone's just gonna be like, "Oh my god, your hair's incredible," and I'm gonna be like, "I know. I bought it."
yeah.
Dead ass, and
It's
then, like, you're not gonna know what to do with me. Those wigs are gonna become my entire personality.
it's interesting in the listener chat section. We've got two tall men who are saying I'm 6'2" and traditionally I've been attracted to guys similar height or taller. So
Dang.
that's tall dudes. And then
I mean,
Shane
who
says
isn't attracted to someone who's 62? I mean,
62.
also, if you 62 and you got it, but also 6'2" as well. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, and then I'll be honest, I'm kind of tallish, but actually kind of wish I was a bit shorter. That's fascinating, Shane. What is it about being tall that you don't like?
Hmm.
Love to hear that. Anyway,
Um, yeah, I would also like to say I've been attracted to men 6'2" and taller as well, so relatable.
just for shits and giggles, how tall is the tallest man you've ever dated or had any sort of relation with?
6'4". He was 6'4". He was a tall Viking of a man. He was in college. His name was Scott Conover. He doesn't have
Ooh.
social media. I tried to look him up recently. He's not there. Last time I heard, he was in Mexico studying bats.
Oh.
Oh, but when I tell you,
When I tell you,
ooh,
tell me.
I just, oof. I'm
I
very
love that you
horny.
just went somewhere else. I just love that you went somewhere else.
Yeah,
So I exist in a 5'4" body, and my tallest boyfriend was 6'5", 6'6", 6'5".
incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Nearly two, like, just,
Had to pick me up when we would kiss hello. It was literally he had to like reach right down, or like I had to stand on something. It was great. It
I'm
was great.
glad that you like that.
I did.
Um, present present boyfriend is about as tall as me, which is nice.
Yeah.
Um,
I got to meet present boyfriend on
mhm.
FaceTime, and it made my heart so happy. And I felt like I was being a weirdo because I couldn't stop smiling because I was just like,
Oh, you were fine. It
I
was
was
real
so
chill.
happy. I
It
just
was
so
a
happy.
it was a great time. I really like
He's
him.
adorable. Um,
Um,
let's move on to our pal Trump, who is still around, is being charged $10,000 a day for contempt for not turning in court requested documents. And
including
he just
post-it notes.
and he
Including
says,
post-it notes.
I don't know where those are.
They're just like, and it's like, and until like you can apparently like until you people can show that you've actually thoroughly looked for them and you say you can't find them, I'm just like, here's the deal. It's just like until someone's ready to actually enforce the law, he's not going to ever pay that.
No. So he's getting charged it. You think he's just like winding up a bill like all his other bills?
Oh, 100%. And everyone just thinks that he's untouchable because he's some sort of. Here's the deal. He is just somebody who was able to. He's become a demagogue. He's got so much power because of people's faith in him
Hmm.
that if you do something, you're going to piss more than just him off, and that's a whole like that'll cost you your career. And the thing is, like, I wish they would. I wish they would. But anyways, everyone's like, well, I got to stay in there to keep the Trump Republicans out. I'm like, all Republicans are Trump Republicans. Period.
At this point, because people aren't holding
There
him
aren't like
accountable.
you show me
Cheney, who is surprised? Cheney is. She is bold. I never thought
Liz
I'd say
Cheney.
that. Hmm.
I never thought that I'd ever liked Liz Cheney either. And like, here's the deal. I'm just like, they're coming for you too.
Oh,
Like
she knows.
I'm just like, you think that you have a place in this party?
She
You
knows. I
think
mean,
that
she
they
knows.
actually? Oh yeah. I'm like, just God help. Just fix it,
We could
fix
call
it.
this the prayer request section.
Oh
Also,
my God.
um, can we talk now about the Johnny Depp trial? Have you been watching it at all? Because it
Course
is
not.
oh
Course
my
not.
gosh, it is the best comedy on TV right now.
What?
He is 100% aware that he's in the right and everybody who keeps coming in front of him is like, hey, all the like everything that you can imagine. Like she claimed all this stuff, and like everyone around them is like, no, that's not him. When your ex-wives and girlfriends line up to say, look, he may be a lot of things, but he is not abusive.
Mhm.
Like literally. And so it's just an interesting, they've been asking him all kinds of questions, and the way that he handles it is so fascinating. And I am interested to see how Disney is going to respond.
Probably not going to.
You're probably not.
That's what I mean. That's the thing. Like they didn't want to respond to the "Don't Say Gay" bill
Mm.
until people put pressure on them, and then they did respond. They removed their. And here's the thing. I'm really glad that I feel like there needs to be a move where like I don't think there needs to be any big money like within. I don't think if you own a business, I don't
Hmm.
think businesses should contribute to um, politicians. I think everything for politicians needs to be crowdfunded.
Oh, that's beautiful. I think you're right.
And I also think you shouldn't be able to get any of your own personal money in there as well, because if you're rich, that means you can buy your election.
Yeah.
Like you. Like, if you want to be elected, you need to get the people to fund you, and or there needs to be a cap at how much you can receive from any one person. But then they already do that, but then they don't do that because I hate it here. I hate the government. I hate being an American.
I don't
It's
hate being
terrible.
American. But
That's okay.
also, I have to say Dana's right. Her attorney objected to his own question, and that was a beautiful moment. Like, it has been the most confusing trial ever. And Johnny Depp
Wait,
sort of
what?
sits there. Yeah. Oh, it has been a train wreck because her attorneys, like, here's the thing is Johnny Depp started recording their conversations. And so they're just playing the conversations, and it's not Johnny Depp that's looking bad. He looks like someone who, like, he drinks really early. So the attorney asked him, how do you do this? Like, you're drinking at this time in the morning. And he's like, it's happy hour somewhere. Like, it's like the funniest thing. Like, he's just
It's
sort
like,
of like,
this has like, it's like I'm allowed to do whatever I want. Drinking is not a crime.
well, and then he
Last time
made
I
a really good
checked.
point. He's like, since this, have realized that I had a really traumatic childhood. And when I'm working, I don't drink or use any drugs. I don't. When I'm filming, I just don't. I'm 100% in that. But when I'm not, I was hiding. And so the way that I hid was to use drugs and drink. I don't agree with the way that I behaved or behave, but that is, 100% what I did. But I
Mhm.
was not abusive when I was in those states. And so many people have come out and been like, yeah, no, that's not what he is. And
Like, he
then
might
like
have been an asshole, but
even like the butler came out and was like, I never filled his glass of wine. I was filling her glass of wine. And they're like, well, how do you know he wasn't drinking her wine? He's like, I don't, but I never saw him do it. And there was only ever one glass. So are you saying he couldn't have been drinking from her glass? He's like, no, I'm just telling you, I only ever saw her drink bottles of wine. I never saw him do it. So it's so fascinating. So it's an
and that's the
interesting
thing. It's just like
trial.
you're saying that he couldn't. It's like, no, this what I'm literally saying is
It's just, I guess it's like fun to see lawyers look ridiculous and also lawyers look brilliant. Like, there's like certain
mhm.
moments where you're just like, huh. And it is also two people's lives, but it is civil court. So I don't know why it feels better to watch that.
Who can say?
So
Who
the
can
last
say?
thing that I had for us to talk about is there's humans are now getting the bird flu.
Cool. We were getting swine flu a couple years ago, so why not?
Yeah,
Add it
lock and
up.
load. I just felt like someone needed to say it. Everyone get your mask back out because here we go. Bird flu.
I'm not ready for it. Here's a question. Moving into our last little section of the day.
It's such a good
Um,
one.
just a really, really chill time. If you ever want to send your questions in to the podcast, you can go to this link here, which is bit.ly/your favorite aunt's hotline, or your fave aunt's hotlines,
And it's so
FAVE.
fun because you can leave a video or you can leave a voicemail or you can text us. It's like
Mhm.
whatever your pleasure. We want to be engaged with you.
Yep. And so I want to read this from E.
E.
E sends in the following question via text. It says, I'm struggling with my sister. I'm 30-year-old queer female. I don't
Hmm.
believe in marriage, but I support my loved ones for who they are. You know what? Same here. Same here. My sister's getting married and she's having a pricey wedding, not like a millionaire, but over what the family can afford. Our
Ooh.
father recently died. It was pretty traumatic. He was a family centric person all the way. I support anything she wants to do as long as she acknowledges me as a human. Her friends have been brutal towards me. She's disinvited my brother to the wedding, and quote, we don't have to support the life she's trying to build. She's very traditional and heteronormative. She takes everything I post on social media personally. What should I do? Do I prepare myself for the relationship, or do I continue to stand up for myself? Let it go. Let her go. Let her go. Let her go have her own big, fancy, stupid wedding. And also, if someone in the family wants to pay for that, that's their business. Let them pay for whatever they want. That's if it's as long as it's not your money, that's not your business. You're
Okay.
going to say, and also, if her friends have been brutal to you,
Hmm.
and your sister's not willing to stand up to her friends for for her family, that is data.
Hmm. Yeah, I think the truth is uh it is wonderful to show up for someone's wedding, absolutely. And I know you don't want to you're worried about regretting later missing it. But I think in this moment, you have to kind of weigh the cost versus the gain. Is being
Mhm.
present, what does that feel like in your body when you really think about being present? I would invite you, cannot believe I'm saying this. I would invite you to take this one to the mat, like sit down and think, how is my
Mhm.
body going to feel in this space? Imagine it.
If I
How is
go to
my,
this wedding,
right?
I'm there.
I'm there.
My brother's not there. I'm just there
My
by
brother's not there.
myself.
Right. Now, also envision, I don't go to this wedding. I'm at home. How does my body feel?
Mm.
And just do that work because I think it helps us prepare ourselves because you can choose to go to this wedding, but you also know that you can always, 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 any time of it, opt out and leave.
Mhm.
You as long you just have to prioritize your safety of spirit and body and heart.
Mhm.
Also, you just had a traumatic loss.
Mhm.
And so did your sister. And perhaps this wedding that she is creating is because she wants everything to be okay and the storybook.
Mhm. And
So
her
you
daddy was
guys,
supposed to be there, and he ain't.
right. So there is so much work to be done around the loss of a parent, especially it sounds like
Mhm.
a tragic loss of a parent. Give yourself a little bit of grace and also maybe give your sister a bit of grace. Her friends don't deserve your grace, but
Yeah,
giving,
fuck her friends.
yeah,
And
giving
also
yourself,
fuck your sister and her behavior too,
right.
and at the same time, you
And
can still talk
also,
to her. Yeah.
also recognize like this is not who I knew her to be. Yeah, she's under a lot of stress
Yeah.
and
Unless it
she's
is who
missing
you
her
know
dad.
her to be, in which case, let it go. And by
In
that I
which
mean
case,
let her, and
you
I
do
don't
not
mean
have
let
to
it
go.
go as in just like let her walk all over you, but just for me, if I have family that I know is not healthy for me to be around, I just think like it costs me too much to be here. Price of admission too high.
But you and I, we've been friends for a long time. I've known you to allow yourself to try again
Oh
and then
yeah,
say
for sure.
this isn't what I was I'm doing this because I care about these people, but I'm going in knowing what feeling I need to feel from this. And when I
Hmm.
don't feel it, I'm leaving a day early or I'm
Oh
whatever
yeah.
it might be. So it's just always know the always make sure you're not stuck in the space.
Oh
Does that make
yeah.
sense? Like,
That's my favorite thing. Having my own car, like
mhm.
when
Mhm.
my grandfather died, uh it was
That's what I was
pre
specifically thinking about.
yeah, it was pre-vaccine.
Mhm.
And so I went to support my mom. No one wore masks. It was
Mhm.
really, really uncomfortable. And plus, like evangelical weddings are as cringe as you think they are.
Funerals too.
What I say?
You said weddings.
Wedding. Why don't people do that? Maybe because there's a small death I'm watching. I'm like, wow, two people are really about to just
Do
ruin
you know in
themselves.
French, do you know I've known this for years, but on the TV show, an orgasm is called a tiny
Le
death.
petit démon.
Le petit amour.
Yeah, the little death. Every single time, it's just like,
And you're reborn every time.
every time, death and rebirth. It's magical. It's why I do it all the time. I have le petit démon every time I think. What? Every time I think? No.
Maybe.
That would be very difficult and very messy, and I'd probably be very dehydrated as a result.
There are people who have that syndrome, but we can get off on that topic later. Get
We
off
can
on that.
get off that topic. Listen, not come on for our
Oh,
next
it makes me
show.
uncomfortable. Point being, death and funerals are different than weddings. Keep going.
Yes, and so is never mind. I can tell that I've had 2 drinks now. Um, but yeah, E.
Take care of yourself. I would suggest doing things like renting your own car, being in your own space, having people who are on call for you. If it feels like you're going to regret not going in yours, I understand the need to go. But again, I'd
Mhm.
invite you to go to the mat or wherever it is that you feel like you can connect to yourself and your feelings and figure out what that means for you.
And I would invite you to not go and don't feel bad about it at all, period.
Perfect. Oh, that was a good one. What else we got?
That's actually it for that. We didn't get any new ones. So please, if you're out there and you're listening to this and you're like, wow, I would really love to get some sage advice from my favorite aunts, please go to bit.ly/your fave ants hotline. The link's in the show notes as well as in all of our social media. It just takes a minute. It's very, very fun. And we may read them a lot on the air. So please do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we might kibosh it right there. What do you think? Because I feel like we really.
I mean, we've done some things. I want to promote a couple things.
Yeah, come on, promoceptual.
So promoceptual. I love it. Friends, our Recovery podcast is doing super well, and now we've got a Patreon around that. But there is one more layer. As someone who is a coach and has been coaching people, the thing that I get told again and again is, I really want to be coached by you, but I'm in a place of transition, whatever that might be, and I can't afford it. And so Soul Leader, which is an organization, has taken me on so that people can donate towards a 501c.
Mm,
So they just go to Soul Leader, which is only SOULEADER. So there's not two
mm,
L's. .org, and you can go to give, and you can drop down to my name, and you can give towards someone who is leaving a toxic ministry program for me to be able to coach them for free, so that I both can
mm.
survive in my life and someone else can also get the coaching that they need to change. So there's that. Um, I'm really
That's really awesome.
I'm really excited about that. Also, I'm rebranding my website and I cannot wait. I'll be sharing it with you guys when it comes back up. But there's a little excitement. There's a little marketplace being built that I can't wait to release to the world. So just be keeping
Mm.
Sarah in your thoughts, because there's some really fun stuff. Not just getting an agent, but moving forward with a lot of stuff. It's a good time.
Listen, when I tell you all of my friends are winning, I'm a magical bitch and I attract everything I want into my life.
Speaking of magical bitch, what you got going on?
Well, one, I'd like to promo this real quick. I Am God's Dream by Matthew Paul Turner,
Mine
our
comes
mutual
today.
friend. It's a great, new, beautiful celebration of the unique, strong, and wonderful traits in every child and how God delights in each and every one of them. Super cute, very fun. I
That
give
is the
Matthew
person
Paul
I
Turner
trust.
with my children.
Yeah.
Honestly, I give all of my my nieces and nephews. I don't have any nephews. I have second cousins who are little boys, but it's fine. But I give this stuff to all of my little babies, so my brothers can read this to their children, so that maybe they can get some good theology in their brain.
It's the best. Because so, like, in real life, the question that I get again and again from my friends who are raising children is like, I no longer want to do the church thing, but I also want my kids to be curious about spirituality for
Mm,
themselves so they can land somewhere. And I also want them to believe that there is a benevolent being of some
mm,
sort that loves them. And so they
yeah.
have asked, where do they go? And I literally just, I have a stack of
Hmm.
like Matthew Paul Turner's books are just right there. The one he wrote with
Hmm.
Rachel Held Evans as well. And I send them to people. You might have gotten those. I just find them to be such great books, and I can't wait. Yeah, mine apparently it was slower in the mail, so I get mine today, and I've been following it around the country as it's been coming this way.
Yay.
So thank you, Matthew,
Yeah.
for sending those to us. You are an incredible person in our
Mm.
lives.
Yeah, so that's what I want to promote. I also want to say a registration for the summer cohort 2020 is open now. What the practice cohort is, it's a group of 22 people or less. And what we do is we practice meditation. We create
Mm.
a spiritual practice so that we can actually like live happier lives and recover from our trauma. It's like if you're out there wondering what's next, like after all my spiritual stuff falls apart, this might be a good place to check out. If you want to know more, go to thekevingarcia.com/cohort and go listen to my other show, A Tiny Revolution. This past week, I had my friend Evelyn from the internets. And if you don't know who that is, yes, you do. Literally just go listen to it. You'll know exactly who she is.
She's
It was
amazing.
just a really fun conversation. We had a really lovely time talking about being creatives online and, you know, all that sorts of shit. And that is about it. Other things, please light a candle. I had a really great meeting this week with a publisher, and they're very adamant about the possibility of taking my book on. And I want $50,000 for my advance. And I don't know
Ooh.
if that's even quote unquote possible, but guess what? My God has an unlimited supply of money.
Ugh. And also
Oh!
check out our dear friends show on Our Friends Are On. I cannot believe this, the Food Network. So our
The
friends
Food
Rhett and
Network.
Link just started a show on the Food Network, and I haven't seen it yet, but it's got to be amazing because those two are incredible. They're great friends, incredible comedians. I follow this girl on Instagram name at least, just because I think she's funny, and also because we tell stories the same way. And it turns out she got to be on their show last week, and I just love that. I just love when worlds collide. So check out everything that's going on with Rhett and Link. They are great friends of ours. We have done holidays with
Or
them.
don't if you don't like to check things out.
If you don't like
What?
checking things out, I don't know.
Yeah, if you're a boring person, if you hate fun,
Have
you
such a
don't want to
great.
support the queer community, don't look at our friends' stuff. They're not gay, but like
No, they aren't, but they are wonderful.
Yeah.
Guys, have a great weekend. We are heading into May. It's gonna be May. Sorry.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yay, I love that. Yeah, I don't have any.
Any last advice?
I'm stoned now. I'm ready to go.
Okay. Have
All right,
a
everyone.
great weekend, friends. We love
We
you.
love you. Make good choices.
Make sure you're hydrated.
Goodbye.